Welcome to Off the Cut, a podcast where we talk about building, making,
and answering all of your questions.
I'm Eric from Spencer Design Co.
And I'm Zach from Zach Builds. If you have a question that you would like us to answer on air, you can send it to offthecutpodcast@gmail.com.
You can find both of us on YouTube, Instagram, and unfortunately, because we have to keep up with kids, you can find us on TikTok too.
All right, now let's get into the show.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Off the Cut, episode 47. We're up in Toronto. Today is known as Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. But here in Ohio and all the way over in Texas, today is respectfully dedicated to the food of the day, bittersweet chocolate. And that's right, you heard me correctly. We've got a guest from Texas with us tonight. He's a full-time content creator, relentless affiliate code shiller, and rumor has it, just like John Cesaro from Lincoln Street Woodworks, he's never actually built anything out of wood. Welcome to the show, Drew Witt from Wittworks.
Hey, I'm happy to be in the same conversation as John. But I think I've built more than he has. I guarantee I spent more time in the shop today than he did, for sure.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Uh-oh. Well, you know who else is in that same category? I think Scott Walsh also doesn't really build much.
Mm-hmm. I was actually talking to Scott Walsh today about renovating his garage, and he was saying he wants to pay somebody to just do it so that he can focus on not building anything and just making videos.
Hey, I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. So let's get this out of the way real quick. That way we can get into the meat of why we're here. We got new patrons this week.
I'm excited for you to try and read one of these names.
Yeah. So first one, we got an Odie's Oil fan. That's Tim.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got
Tim?
What?
I just said, what's up, Tim?
Just Tim. I thought it was my buddy Tim from hockey, but I checked his email. It's not. Mm-hmm. We got a Rigid fan.
Nice.
And this is your Joe Meeklamadadonally Kravaskanask. But I did dig into this one a little further. Mm-hmm. It's our returning patron, Jesper Salderholm. He's back after a little hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got our top-tier patrons, our Cockers. We got Luke Schmidt, Derek Jennings at Pecan Tree Designs, Corey Duvall, Scott Eastman at Eastie's Woodshop, and the Power Cocker, formerly known as Wes.
Oh, and we just lost.
Did we lose him again? All right. Well, we wait to get him back on. We're having a lot of technical difficulties today, folks. But if you want to join us in the after show, go to patreon.com/offthecutpodcast, and you can get access to all kinds of stuff. And also, Zach just released one of the after shows that we did a couple weeks ago. Where Zach had a little too much to drink on the after show. And
Allegedly.
He's back.
I was acting. We got you back, Drew?
Dude. Yeah, you guys just freeze and then...
Oh.
So
it's probably because you're trying to do this high video rate thing, Zach.
I don't think so, because it has nothing to do with Riverside.
I don't know.
I just bumped up my bandwidth allowance to YouTube, but it's minuscule in compared to what I could theoretically upload.
Well, let's. I mean, it's a good segue. The fact that when we are making this content, videos, audio, anything, it never goes perfectly.
Never, literally never.
So, Drew, for people who don't know you, shameless plug.
Yes.
Tell people where they can find you and give them, about yourself, why you got into this, what you do, what you enjoy doing.
yeah, so the channel is called Wittworks. I don't remember where the name came from. And I was just, I think I started in 2021, but in 2013, I was doing freelance graphic design out of a co-working space. And they had these like crappy IKEA tables. Yep. And I could not do any inspiring work sitting at this desk. So I ended up making a desk out of welded the frame out of black steel and then just made a wood top. And I ended up people would walk in to like hire me to do websites or video, and then they didn't leave with like me building them a desk. And so I started doing that in 13. And then one guy was like, dude, you should make videos about this, put them on YouTube, sell plans, make blogs. And I was like, why would I show people the secrets? Then they're not going to pay me $400 to make this desk, which was, I think I lost money. I know I lost money on this desk. So
we've all done that.
Well, yeah. So now I look at, and then I never bothered with YouTube till the pandemic. And I discovered, oh my gosh, if I would have been uploading at the time the Wood Whisperer joined YouTube, had that happened.
Yeah.
You know,
right. Yes.
Like I would have been in the 2013 class, and here I am in 2021, and I started a month before John, and of course he's like at 200,000 now, and I'm not even sniffing 20,000, but yeah, so that's kind of how I got onto YouTube, and I had no clue that it was a thing, even though I had the skill set for it. I was never on YouTube. I thought YouTube was for cat videos and porn, and I'm not interested in either of those things. And so I just was never on YouTube. I was not interested in Ryan's toy review, cats, or pornography. So I never watched YouTube.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic showed me, oh my goodness, Ryan's toy review is making how much money?
Right.
So, and then it taught me, like, the pandemic taught me, I've always thought I wanted job security, but I think what I really want is income security. Mm-hmm. And I realized, like, I had one source of income.
Yeah, you were a pastor before, right?
Yeah. So I planted a church. So I was, at that time, I led that church for 10 years, and COVID eventually killed the church. But I was sitting there with, like, my wife, and I have 2 kids. Now I have 3 kids. And our entire livelihood is based on whether local entities will allow people to come to church.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we were renting a school. And so the school kicked us out we were out March of 2020, and we were allowed to go back in June of 2021. Wow. That's how long we were out. And then they wouldn't renew our lease. So we were homeless throughout that. And it was just a big wake-up call. I was like,
yeah,
my livelihood for me and my family is based on this one thing, and the government is literally saying, y'all can't meet in groups of more than 20 or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, I got to figure something out. So I got into YouTube to help people, but also to get some passive income.
Right.
Which
and then
has been passive.
How soon into it did you go, the money is not just rolling in?
Yeah. I think I actually have on my wall right here my first Amazon check for $15.
Oh, nice.
That's more than mine.
On the wall above my thing, yeah. And I'd say until October, I wasn't really making money.
Right. I always tell people I put out at least one video a week for over a year, and these were like full build videos, building projects and stuff like that. It wasn't until video 68 that I made money. Everything was done at a loss on those 68 builds before. All the material costs, all like the website hosts. I wasn't making a dime up until then. Like, it is a long slog to get this stuff going.
It's a long runway. Yeah. I'm personally still not making money. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I haven't. I'm not in the black yet.
Stop. But
yeah.
Like, did you expect that at all when you had first gotten into this? Or did you think it was going to be a long runway, or were you shocked by how difficult of a journey it has been?
I knew it would be hard, but I didn't realize it would take this long.
Yeah.
And then when you see unicorns like John, And I love John.
John's great.
But I look at him and I go, buddy, my video and my audio is way better than you. And how... But he has a better marketing brain than me. And he knows YouTube 1,000 times better than I do. And so video and audio doesn't matter. As long as you're not buzzing. I mean, and it was really frustrating. And I had to humble myself and say, hey, buddy, like I know how to do the look and the sound, but I have no clue. He was like really blunt with me, and I started taking his advice, and it worked. It worked. I mean, he's awesome, man. He's great. And Scott and Suman, that whole crew is awesome. They just think about it differently than I have ever thought about it.
They're all about teaching and helping and growing and fostering the community is what it's all about. I mean, they're all for that. Now, Drew, you had sent me I don't even know if you put it out yet. Maybe it was an unlisted video where it was the title was something like Blacktail Studio Sucks or something like that you'd put out.
Yeah.
But tell people the message behind that, because I listened to that and I was like, I 100% identify that. And I actually literally had the exact same conversation with Zach when we first started this podcast. And Zach, it basically was like that I would look at someone else's channel and kind of compare myself to them, and it would almost make me feel down.
Right.
So, Drew, talk about that video that you had made.
Yeah, and you're in it too. You're at the end of it. So it's on my second channel, because every egotistical YouTuber has to have a second channel. So if you want, you could just search, Witt Works plus Max Ultra, because I'm just dripping with sarcasm. And so the video is something like Blacktail Studio Sucks, or my honest thoughts about Blacktail Studio. And I had been trying to grow my channel, and I had just hit, I think, maybe 15,000 subscribers in December. And then I see Cam announces he has a second channel. And I think within a matter of days, he had 15,000 subscribers. And then I think now it's like at 30 or 40 or whatever, last time I looked at it. And I got kind of pissed about it. And I was like, hey, dude, I had been slugging for...
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Did we get...
I don't think this is a dramatic pause anymore. I think we lost him again for a second.
You're killing me. Can you downgrade the stream in the middle of it?
I mean, I can. I guarantee you that's not it, though.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I think this is on Drew's end. I think, because we're still talking to each other just fine, right?
Son of a gun, we lost him again.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think something's funky with his internet, unfortunately, but I will downgrade the stream just in case.
Right. We severely apologize to everybody listening. This is when tech is a real fickle son of a gun.
Yeah.
And gets you. But, I mean, I'm sure he'll join back and then be able to talk a little bit more about the video. But it's so interesting because he was really talking about, like, you see somebody doing so well and you're like, but look at all the work that I've put in.
Yes.
And I'm not seeing any reward. And... like, it makes you want to give up until you realize that, like, your journey is completely different than everyone else's, and that, like, you can't compare yourself to all these other people because you're not the same person as they are, and you don't want to be the same person.
Exactly. I mean, everybody's walking a different path. I mean, it sounds cheesy to say, but, everybody comes into it with different skills, different abilities, and... you just kind of got to do the best with the cards you have. And also, I think the age-old saying of comparison is the thief of joy is so true. Like, you can't compare yourself to other people and where they're at. The only thing you can do is compare yourself to yourself in the past, I think. And as long as you're moving towards your goal, you're making progress. Like, I think that's the most important thing.
100%. Because, like you said, if you're improving, that's what matters. It may not be the exact rate that you want, but like you're still getting better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like, am I ever going to have a channel where I put out a video and I get 50 million views every single time? Maybe. But I doubt it.
Does
Not
anybody
in our
have a
space.
channel where they get... I don't even think Mr. Beast gets 50 million or PewDiePie gets 50 million views every episode.
Really?
I don't know. Let's look. Well, we're waiting for Drew to come back. Maybe he just won't come back. Maybe he's like, screw these guys.
I think when he does come back, we'll tell him to just do the no camera, because that probably will do less bandwidth.
Yes,
because that might be the issue. Idea. But yeah, look it up. Tell me. Let me know.
Okay, I'm looking up Mr. Beast right now. 73 million views, 89 million. Okay, so he's doing 50 million views every video. Who's another big channel? PewDiePie doesn't make anything anymore. Oh, we got
back.
Drew. He's back.
At some point, you think you're the problem, right? It's your fault.
I was gonna say we're back. So no, you're good. You're totally good. So where you left off was like you had seen that Cam's channel had gotten like, he's got like 15,000 new subs in a month, and you just started to get pissed.
Yeah, super jealous, and like, gosh, I've been doing this for 20 months, and I finally hit 15,000. Lincoln Street started a month after me and is already at 200,000. What am I doing wrong? Blah, blah, blah. I never blamed YouTube. It was just like, man, like I'm putting all this effort, but clearly I'm missing an element. And I was reminded of the quote. I don't remember where I heard it, but it was, "Don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle."
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, you know what? Probably if I had 2 million subscribers and I started a second channel, I should get 15,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
so
100%.
And then I had like my goal was to hit 20,000 by the end of the year, and I think I'm at like 19,000 still. And then I was just like, man, I wonder how Eric did this month, because I know he's been doing these stupid titles, and I saw like you had like 17,000 just in December, and then I was like, Eric Spenceley sucks. And so then I remember, don't compare yourself to someone else's middle. And so it's funny is now I get comments from people on video saying that they started before me and they only have like 1,000 subscribers and they think that Whitwork sucks.
Right.
It's everyone's journey is different,
Yes, 100%.
And it's also like it's difficult to capture. Like if I look at your channel, Drew, or Zach's channel, it's really hard for an outsider to capture all of the work and the whole trajectory of the channel. Because like for me, mine channel is just a very, very, very slow escalating line. And then you get like one little bump and then like down. And it truly wasn't until Zach, like November?
Yeah, early November, I think
that I just picked up a ridiculous amount of steam.
Mm-hmm.
And truthfully, I credit all of it to John and Scott's advice, where they're like, buy the most expensive tube buddy thing. And any video that isn't going like a very steep upward decline or upward climb, change the title and thumbnail and just try something.
Yeah.
And do the A/B test.
Yep.
Now, every single morning I wake up, I look at my email and they're like, 7 of your videos have finished A/B testing. I look at it, I'm like, is it going steeply up? No, start another A/B test. That has become like half of the business is just running A/B tests now.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I wish YouTube would give us that, because it's such a good feature. They have the but they keep saying they will, but I did the same thing. I told John, like, buddy, you need a TubeBuddy affiliate link, because I did it in September, at the end of September, when I did that vacuum video. I had titled it "Rigid versus Festool vacuum," whatever.
Sure.
Like super straightforward, which I'd done on all my videos. And I sent it to him saying, hey, what do you think? And he said, your title sucks.
Right. That's him not being mean, that he's just blunt, which I like.
Yeah, good. And so he's like, you need to experiment with non-literal titles. I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, I don't know. I said, can you give me an example? So he's like, no, but go look at Four Eyes. And I was like, okay. So I ended up doing this video will save you a lot of money.
Right.
Which I didn't think would do anything. And
it's stupid.
I never I got to a buddy to A/B test it. And I actually A/B tested the thumbnail. I had a thumbnail with the vacuums, and then I had a thumbnail with the vacuums with me in the middle, which is what it is now.
Right.
All of my audience said they preferred the one with just the vacuums because they hate the YouTuber face and everything.
Fair.
A/B tested, and like the one with my face performed exponentially better.
Right.
So I was like, I want to listen to you guys, but the data says people click on faces.
Yeah.
And I hate it, but, so instead of doing I just did like a really subtle look. And, but yeah, so now I A/B test everything. And I'll get comments. I did one on tape. And I was going to do like the 5 tapes every maker needs. And I ended up changing it to retire this trick now. And it was like the Blue Painter's tape, CA.
Right.
Right. And I got like a ton of people who were like pissed that I titled it that. They were like, if I were searching for tapes, I would have never clicked on this video.
No one searches on YouTube anymore.
Yeah. But then I said, but you clicked. And then now you left an angry comment. That's what YouTube wants. I'm sorry. Like I prefer what you're saying to do, which is 5 tapes. However, I think that video has 50 or 60,000 views over like tape.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
right.
stupid.
Right.
So yeah, I think now titles. It's just really amazing how dumb we are. Is the dumber the title, the better the video is going to perform. It's terrible.
It's so true.
I made this video about like how to dye your power tools, and I went through a bunch of different title thumbnail combinations, and then finally I just titled it "Your Tools Are Boring," and that video blew up. And it was like, it's completely unsearchable. It's borderline insulting, and it's like, why? Like, and it actually kind of worries me in a weird way. I was talking about this with a friend of mine. I'm not a very negative person. Like, I try and bring a lot of positivity to whatever situation I'm in. And so it's like making a video where the title is "Your Tools Are Boring," where it's like borderline insulting like that to the audience. Like, I don't like doing that. Like, it feels bad to me. And I worry that this trend of like non-literal titles is like, I don't know, it's bad for people in some way. It works, it's successful, don't get me wrong, but that it's not, I don't know, good for people's like mental condition.
Well, like the video I put out that what was it? It was the wine rack video I put out a couple months ago. It was my first one that literally just went to the moon. I was like, I think the title's like, I don't know why people still do this. Yeah. And I made like a 20-second joke at the end. I'm like, I think it's really ugly when people stain furniture, but that's what they wanted. And just like laughed about it.
Yeah.
And like, I feel bad because like, some people love the look of walnut stained pine, but I don't. And I was just making a little, joke about it. And like, I kind of feel bad if it like makes people mad, right?
I wonder,
I would feel bad.
The reason why the title structure works is because it's a pattern interrupter. But I think if everyone starts doing it, if you did something different, maybe, so I think it's about catching people's attention.
Right. Standing up from the pack.
It'd be interesting to see how, because I get people comment say, I intentionally don't click on videos that are titled that way. Now, are millions of woodworkers going to hold to that discipline? Probably not.
No.
But I am interested to see if in a year you're still titling I don't know why people do that.
I hope so, because I put out a video, I'm like, I don't know. I don't understand. Why do? I'm like, this is easy.
Yeah.
It's easy.
It's depressing. It's like the stick bar. Have you guys read the book Hook Point?
No, I haven't.
Is that a Malcolm Gladwell one?
No. It's by Brendan Kane. He basically
That looks so familiar.
has figured out how to engineer virality. And he has a book called 1 Million Followers in 30 Days, where he grew 1 million followers on Instagram and another time on Facebook in 30 days. And he was hired by Yahoo. Yahoo had Katie Couric, and she wasn't getting any traction, and so they hired him to come in and basically make her interviews go viral. And so he would work with her. He would hear, okay, what do you want to talk about? And then he would figure out what are the news clips that are going to go viral. And then he would tell her, you have to ask this question, this question, this question. And so they'd go into these interviews with Katie Couric already knowing what was going to pop off. And so he's developed this whole structure. In the book, I think this book is like a must read for any content creator, because it's a Hook Point, How to Stand Out in a 3-Second World. And he talks about how there's 6 billion messages made on digital platforms every day. And so, your title is the hook. I don't know why people... That's the hook. And then you get them in. So the whole book is about how do you get them to stop scrolling, how do you get them to click, how do you get them in the first 3 seconds, the 5 seconds, and how do you deliver on it. And he everything they do is in research. Everything is based in research. It's not like, here's what I think. It's all data driven. And his thing is, going viral isn't luck, it's science. It's math. It's math.
Huh.
Most people don't know, they get lucky that they've hit the equation, but they don't know how to repeat it necessarily. But he's figured out how to do it in any niche. Yeah, he was on the Future podcast. Chris Do, I think is his name.
That sounds familiar.
He's got some. Okay, just you're welcome, and you can send me some free woodpecker tools. YouTube The Future without an E, FUTUR space Brendan Kane. Okay. And I think it's fascinating. And he breaks down what I just described. Yeah. So I've listened to the book. I'm reading it again, and it's helped me. Even how this next video I'm working on, I've written everything based on how do I hook people and how do I keep hooking them throughout the storyline. So there's 9 or 10 hooks in the video that you won't get the payoff till the end. So we'll see how it works. But yeah, Hook Point. Anyone making content, this is the book to get, I think.
I want to talk about the video. Well, you sent it to me a couple days ago because we were talking about it. Zach, and maybe you're familiar with this too. Do you ever use a cabinet card scraper?
No, but I know of them.
Why don't you use one?
Never
to be
really
honest.
I've never really found much. Well, I've never tried I don't have one, and then I've never been dissatisfied with the results I got from sandpaper.
Okay, I was hoping you would say because I don't know how to sharpen one.
Oh, well, I'm also lazy. I don't own any tools other than a set of chisels that I have to sharpen.
You mean your glue scrapers?
Yes, exactly.
That's why you need a card scraper for glue, man.
But the problem with the card scraper is that I got one because I saw all these videos. I saw a JCat's video. I saw a Rob Kosman video. I saw videos that all these people have put out. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you just take a screwdriver and a little metal file, fold it over, and boom. Dude, it's impossible to sharpen this damn thing.
Yeah, it's hard. It's easy, but you need to be apprenticed into the touch. That's the hard part. It's like welding. there's this touch to welding, I feel like. And it's like the more you do it, the more you just intuit what you're supposed to do. And I found like that's with card scraping. With card scrapers. That's the thing. I've watched all those videos. I thought I could do it, and I go try it. I can't. I get frustrated. So I made a video where I figured out how to do it.
And you got because I was talking to Mike Taylor from Tay Tools, I think last week or so, maybe 2 weeks ago, and he sent me that AccuBurr burnisher thing.
Yeah.
Zach's, it's basically like a carbide rod. Think of like a pen, but then it has little like half moon shapes in it. So like you rub it over the card scraper, and it like perfectly folds the metal over on each side. And he was like, "You'd be able to sharpen a card scraper in like a minute." It worked better than anything I had done before, but I still wasn't getting like what you see, like, you know, people showing these videos, and it's frustrating as hell.
Yeah. So what I also learned is the type of wood you try. Apparently, like, softer wood is really, really hard to get a good shaving on, and the harder the wood, the better. So a lot of times people would try it on pine or even walnut, and it's just, or cherry, and it's too soft.
Oh, I was doing it on walnut.
Yeah. You have some white oak or maple?
Yeah?
Try that. Yeah, you get better shavings at harder. I don't understand it, but the harder the wood, the better the shavings are. But the funny story is, I bought that. I bought a card scraper years ago. I couldn't figure it out. I did the YouTube thing, couldn't figure it out. So I saw Woodcraft had this hand plane sharpening class, $100. So I go to it. In their fairness, I go to it, bringing my card scraper also, because that's what I really want to learn how to sharpen, is not the hand plane.
Okay.
They kind of go through the thing, and then at the end of it, the guy goes, "Yeah, if you still can't get it, just YouTube, and there's some videos on YouTube." And I was like, "Dude, I paid $100 because YouTube didn't work, and now I'm in this class, and it's at 9 p.m. at night, and now you're telling me if I'm still having problems, go to YouTube." And even the store owner came over, and he was like, well, like, they didn't want to help me. I was like, I paid $100. Anyways, so I gave up that was years ago, maybe 4 years ago. But Eric, in one of your videos I saw you were doing something with black epoxy.
Yeah, just filling like a knot hole.
Yeah, and you used a card scraper to like clean it up.
That's movie magic. What I had done is I took several passes, and then I used my sander, and then went back to the card scraper. Do you know how long that would have taken me to use a card scraper to clean all of that epoxy off?
This is why I don't use a card scraper.
Drew just dropped his phone.
I am unsubscribing from you.
Please do.
Oh my God. Okay, but no, so here's the honest truth. I saw that video, I was like, dude, that would be perfect. I've got a project coming up. I'm going to be using some CA glue, some black CA glue.
Right.
And that would be perfect. So that's how I got into the card scraper again, was because of you. But what you're telling me is you're a fraud, and you lied to me.
It's all a fraud.
It's lies all the way down.
Well, so on the previous video that I had made, I cleaned up the epoxy with my Rotex. And people were like, "That's not how you do it," and got all pissed off. So then in this one, I like even made a comment in the videos like, "And because all of you angry hand tool users don't think I'm a woodworker, I bought one of these for you." And I used it a little bit. It worked great, but then the epoxy like gummed up on it, and I was like, "Oh, screw this!
Yeah, because
I'm bringing my sander out."
It makes a lot of heat.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So Zach, when you get into card scraping, your thumbs are going to get hot.
Okay.
Which, you know, in the winter, that might be a good thing. But
yeah, these cold Canadian winters.
Yeah. Dude,
but I mean,
I can't believe you have deceived me.
I get that. People will be like, "How many cameras do you have?" And I was like, "I just have one. I make one cut in one angle and one cut in another angle. And nobody wants to see you make the same cut 7 times. So I just do like a second or two at each angle and stuff like that. It takes forever, but I was like, it's kind of fun. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it. But Zach will never use a card scraper because he's joining the trend of people who don't even woodwork anymore on YouTube.
Right. That's right. If I can't plug it in and have a computer do it for me, I'm not interested.
You're gonna be one of the CNC people, where people just leave angry CNC comments all the time.
It started a long time ago, my friend.
Zach Builds is going to turn into Zach AI.
Yeah. That would be kind of fun. I would enjoy that, actually.
Did you guys see the video that Dave Picciuto put out a couple days ago?
I was surprised
I don't think
he
so.
actually made the thing.
Right. So, Zach, basically there's this like AI thing that you could do, like type in like Mary-Kate and Ashley, outer space, puppies.
Yes.
And then like a minute or two later, it populates this like AI image with all that looks really good. So
yeah.
What he had done is he wanted like a towel holder or something for his bathroom, right? And he types in some keywords like towel holder, walnut, or whatever, and it comes up with these like fully realized design like pieces of furniture, and you're like, what the heck?
It's crazy.
And so he took the design and he actually made it?
Yeah.
Well,
That's awesome.
he added a name of a furniture designer. I forget who it was. And so it did it in his style.
Oh,
like,
cool.
Project Green and Green or something. And then he just kept refreshing, and he got like 10 iterations. It was nuts.
Wow. That's really cool.
I still think it's a fad. I don't think it's going to change our lives as much as people fear. I think it'll be a useful tool. But
yeah.
I was surprised by how he... Like, what I would have done is I said, oh, that would have been nice, and then I would have made a design off of that. He actually, like, well, this one has, like, a weird angle, so now I got to do that. And he, like, went into the details of it, which I would have been too lazy to do, but it was fascinating.
As soon as I saw that, I highly considered, like, okay, if I want to build a coffee table, like, will it come up with some super unique coffee table designs?
I think it would actually come up with a super generic coffee table design, because you give it a bunch of keywords, and then it essentially goes to Google Images, pulls down a bunch of examples, and then, does its little AI magic, merges them all together, and then gives you a result. So it's actually, you would get like the world's most average coffee table, or like, the average of all the coffee table on the Google image results.
You think?
I mean, depending on, obviously you can introduce more and more keywords into it and drill deeper down and get something unique, but if you just typed in, like, cool looking coffee table, it would just give you an amalgamation of all the cool looking coffee tables on Google Images.
So it would come back with a walnut stained palette wood coffee table.
Yeah.
It'd be a rip-off of Anna White.
Right. Yeah. So on Instagram the other day, I got a new table saw, and like I was taking off the palette and stuff, and as a joke, I took a picture of the palette that I cut in half, and I was like, bespoke, handcrafted, whatever palette wood blanket holder, $5,000. And I kid you not, I had somebody go, is this still available? And I was like, yeah,
100%.
And they're like, oh, I'm like, they might have been like just Josh and me like dogging around, but I was like, oh my gosh,
they're in on the joke, man.
I hope they're in on the joke.
Yeah,
I really, really hope.
Hey, you could grow a whole channel apparently off of that idea.
Are you talking about my buddy Kurt?
No, I was talking about Morley. I think Morley.
Yeah. Morley Kurt.
Oh, okay. Then I am talking about your buddy.
Yeah.
Is he from Toronto too?
Yeah, he lives just down the street from me.
Wow.
Or at
No
least
way.
he did like a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
impressive.
He's killing it.
I'll be honest, I took one of his titles because I used to make stuff out of pallets, and I've got like one or two videos about pallet wood stuff on my channel, so I was like, I'll try his title, see if it works.
And-
Haven't gotten the results yet.
You need the magic of like the long curly hair a little bit in the thumbnail.
Yeah, I don't have that. I just got like did you remember the show as a kid, Rugrats?
Yes.
The Nickelodeon show?
Do I
kind of
ever?
got that hair going on. It's just, it's all over the place.
I will say, Zach, you need to walk down the street and show him how to use a table saw. Because the video I saw was like, buddy, I don't know if I would have posted that clip of your hand going by that blade on YouTube, man.
Hey, man, it just goes to show, like, it's not about technique, it's not about camera work. It's,
I know, man.
Like, it's like what you're saying, it's standing out from the crowd, right? It's like, oh, dollar, oh, I could do that. I could get some pallets. I could sell that for $500. That could be me. It's like, that's interesting to people.
Somebody's into it. I got a question, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. I don't even know if you've heard this. This is from a guy messaged me today. His name is Chad Lincoln, and he says he wanted to basically, to boil it down, he wanted to know if the Craig Foreman, the most expensive non-industrial Craig pocket hole machine.
Wait, hold on. Stop for a second. Does that mean there's an industrial Craig machine? Because you said Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh, they're like multiple thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Really? So they occupy kind of like this, like, I don't want to be disparaging to Craig, but they're kind of like beginner grade tools.
Right.
And then they also occupy this industrial space and nothing in between? Wow.
Yeah, it's for like cabinet shops and stuff.
Cool.
Like they make these whole tables where you can like build face frames and whatnot with it.
Ah, interesting.
But so Chad wants to know basically like, is the Craig Foreman worth it?
And?
So I'll let you guys start. Have you guys used the Craig Foreman? It's like $400.
No, I'm cheap, so I just have the little R3 or R5 or whatever it's called.
Drew, have you used it?
I've not used it. I have the Craig thing that you like stick in and clamp down.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
If you're making your money building cabinets and doing face frames, then it's probably worth it because you're going to be able to get your time back. But because I think it auto adjusts the drill and the spacing based on your material thickness.
Right.
So I had every Craig pocket hole thing they've ever made. Honestly, the Craig Foreman is not my favorite.
Ooh, what is your favorite?
It looks like hollow and cheap, like plasticky, right? That's what it looks like.
It's like a router motor, but then the box itself is plastic, and then it has like a metal top on it. My issue with it is it has this like fence thing that you have to adjust for the like how thick a material that you have. And then you also have this like hand crank knob that you have to adjust for how deep the drill bit goes into the material. And it's so finicky. Whereas like the other Craig jigs, it's like you just set to these like predetermined stops and you just go for it.
Okay.
Right.
I thought it was like automatic.
Yeah, that was my impression too. I thought
too.
I thought there was some system to it where it like, it adjusted to the thickness of the material and then gave you the pocket at the exact right depth.
Interesting.
It's kind of frustrating. Like honestly, yeah. My favorite is their. They don't even make it anymore. Is the Craig K5, the new 720 Pro jig that they have is okay, but the clamping pressure on it is really poor. And like your pieces will slip sometimes. It's kind of frustrating.
Want.
But they make me use it, so I got to use it. But that's of what they have now. The 720 is by far the best one.
Do you think the 720 is better than the Foreman?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I think the 720 is a little cheaper, isn't it?
It's like a quarter of the price.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody get the 720 then.
What's the one before the K5? Before they did the pneumatic clamp?
That's the K4.
I guess that's what I have.
Or the K3. I think that's what I have. I said R3 earlier, but I think I was wrong.
No, R3 is the portable one that you have to like clamp onto your thing.
Yeah.
And you probably got it in like 2019.
Oh, we got any more questions? We're done shitting on Craig. Oh, there's the explicit. Sorry, everybody.
Oh, we got far.
Yeah, man. I'm impressed.
No, we don't have any other questions. But I'm going through my topic. So I have somebody who... Oh, so somebody reached out. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the chainsaws. and like how dangerous chainsaws and stuff, and we were talking about like chainsaw pants and whatnot.
Oh, yes, yeah, okay.
And so there's Jacob Langford reached out and he said, recently found the podcast, been binge listening at work, currently on episode 27. You guys were talking about multi-tools and chainsaws in the episode. You asked about the chainsaw pants. Since this aired, I feel like the slow-mo video Cam at Blacktail did sums up the part well. If you really want to know a crazy fact, and this is why I thought this was interesting, chainsaws were not invented to cut down trees. They were originally created to aid in childbirth.
I was gonna say killing zombies. So I mean, not that far off, I suppose.
Yeah, I thought that was wild, though. But so, Jacob, we appreciate you listening and giving us that info.
That is one of those things I will remember forever, I think.
Childbirth chainsaws.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Drew, at the start of the year, it's a new year, everybody does those new year, new you things. Do you have goals or things that you really want to focus on this year for like the business or personal or anything like that?
Yeah, kinda. It's more of like I have some like kind of vanity goals.
Okay.
And some revenue goals, but I've been thinking a lot about like the type of creator I want to become.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess I do have some goals. A big goal is I want to hit 100,000 subscribers.
Hell yeah.
This year. I want to be able to sustain a full-time income for my family because I would really like to not go be an employee. I hate being an employee. I just don't like being an employee. So if I can sustain what I've done the last 3 months, it'd be great. And I think I figured out a way. I have like 10 streams of income that I've built behind my YouTube business. So I know it's possible. It's just a matter of it doing the work. But I wrote it down the other day. Actually, I've been thinking about this whole idea of your unfair advantages. Are y'all familiar with that?
It sounds familiar.
I think I'm familiar.
So your unfair advantages are like, we all have them, and they're advantages that you have that when you have greater leverage on than other people.
Okay.
So like our buddy John from Lincoln Street, his unfair advantage is he works in the marketing world and he understands marketing to humans better than me. And when he pulls on that lever, he can go to 200,000 subscribers in less than 2 years, right? So I think one of the keys is figuring out what your unique unfair advantages are, and then play to those strengths, and don't worry about trying to beat other people at the game that they're. If that makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
One of my, I think one of my unfair advantages is my ability to make connections with people and my ability to tell stories.
100%.
Because I did that for 20 years as a pastor.
Right.
Every Sunday, like I had to write a sermon and then give a 30-minute sermon in public every 7 days. So
wow.
I think I could say, how do you say this in humility, but like, I think out of all the woodworkers on YouTube, I think I have more public speaking experience than anybody. Just because I
would say so.
Did it for 20 years and I had to keep people's attention live.
Yeah.
So I've kind of like, when I sit there and do like here's a tool review, I don't really enjoy that. But when I'm telling a story, I really enjoy it, and it seems to like really resonate with people. So this year I'm trying to lean into how do I become the best storyteller I can possibly be in a way that will educate and inspire people to become the best maker they can be.
Yeah.
So the views, subscribers, that's kind of like, I hope for that. But really the thing that is like driving me every day is, okay, what's the next story that I'm going to tell? How am I going to teach people inside of that story? What's the setup? What's the stakes? What's the adversity? What's the payoff? And like, so this next, the video I started on today, I've worked on the story more than anything. For like a month, I've been working on the story. And I think it could be a 1 million view video.
Care to divulge what the video is going to be about?
Yeah. Okay. So now I say it could be a 1 million view video, but it might get 10,000. So
10,000 is still good, though.
I know. So it's a build video, and people have said, "Do you even know how to use the tools behind you?" And so I'm like, "All right, challenge accepted." And a lot of people say build videos are dead.
Mine are going well.
Yeah.
I've said build videos are dead, but then I look at you guys, Bourbon Moth, Salamoni, Cam. Here's what I think people mean. Uninteresting, non-story based
Right.
build videos are dead.
Right.
So I think if you do a build video and you tell a story and it's interesting, obviously. So I'm going to try my hand at it. And the premise is, in real life, a friend asked me to build him a table. He has a couple of reclaimed beams he wants me to use that are really meaningful to him. And I charged him a lot of money, but I've never like resawed before. And we either have exactly enough wood or we don't have enough. So there's like no margin for error. And he needs it next week. And there's like a handful of things I've never done before. Like I've never used Rubio. I've never routed C channel in on the bottom. I've never done threaded inserts. I've never used a domino. And I don't have a bandsaw or a jointer that is big enough to do it. But I said yes, and I took $3,500.
Ooh, okay.
And so there's like 9 things that can go wrong. But I've already written the script on it. So there's like all these hooks built in. And then it'll basically be, seeing if I can do it. And seeing if I can pull it off. And then seeing his reaction. And, so that's what I started on today. And I was, so it's like, most people would take the money and go buy a bandsaw, but I'm not doing that. So it's like, how do I do this without buying a tool? So that's kind of the hook that I'm doing. And I think it'll surprise people.
So was that the one that you sent me the close up thumbnail picture of like you holding a piece of wood and you're like, the title's going to be $3,500 piece of wood?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
love it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that's going to do well.
Yeah.
I hope so. Well, Cam has a video like that. I think it's called $4,000 block of wood or something. And I asked him, I said, "Hey, do you mind if I rip off your title?" He says, "Go for it." Someone else did, and they got more views than him. So he thinks it'll do well. So I think it's got a lot of hooks. Like the price is crazy. And then I polled my audience. I said, "Have you ever said yes to a project and you have no idea how to do it and you don't have the tools?" And everyone's like, "All the time. I'd love to watch you struggle." So
right.
So I more than any video, I'm gonna try to weave a classic story structure in, and then hide a bunch of woodworking tips and tricks inside of that.
Right.
And make a 20 to 30 minute video, and highlight the Pika Dry, and just kidding.
That was mine, Zach. I did a cameo in one of his videos where I was
gotcha.
You got to buy this pencil because everybody tells you to buy that green Pika Dry pencil. Like, here's the thing. It's nice because it doesn't break, but like if I'm using a pencil, I want like a fine line. But they do have a new one that Sedge from Festool was showing me when I was with him in November but I haven't bought one yet because I'm too lazy. I got a million mechanical pencils. That's fine.
Dude, every time I hear in my head we'll watch The Bachelor later, I laugh.
Oh, yeah.
I laugh all the time. My wife would be like, "Why are you laughing?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. I thought of The Bachelor and I laughed, So good.
I always try to add some humor, especially to like ad reads and stuff that I have to do now. I've got one coming up, Drew. It's for, I told Zach about this. It's for identity theft thing. And so what I do, like, I'm in the middle of talking and all of a sudden I bring up one of those, like, like the scary YouTube videos where you're like watching somebody like drive down a road and then somebody goes, "Ah!" and like jumps out and scares you. And I'm like, that's how fast identity theft can happen.
Oh, man.
People are going to lose their shorts on this one. And I actually got the idea from John, and I was like, hey, do you mind if I use this? He's like, yeah, go for it.
When was your first, for both of you, when was your first sponsor and how much was it?
My first sponsor was like my 68th or 69th video. And it was $150.
Okay.
Which is why I tell people do not get in the sponsor game until you're bringing in a substantial sum of views, because it is, I mean, but at that time it was very humbling, right? You're like, oh my gosh, somebody wants to pay me $150? Heck yeah, I'm going to take this.
I actually might have to look back through. I think it was Concrete Countertop Solutions. They make like special concrete for countertops. They paid me $500 and gave me some free concrete to use.
Right.
I think that worked out well for them because that's like a 500,000 view video or something.
Yeah.
No, that was okay. No, I did some stuff for Minwax before that. Let's see.
My titles and thumbnails are so bad. If I looked back at previous videos, I couldn't even tell you what project it was.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Let's see. Oh no. Okay, so I guess the very first one I ever did was what's the name, Eric? What's the name of the company that made the boards that we put up in our shop?
I don't know. Some reclaim.
No. Oh man. Anyways, whatever. They make like reclaim boards that are sliced really thin, and you can put them up on your wall. And same thing. I did that for $500.
Oh.
Yeah.
But like, this is the thing that I think, and I know Drew, you've been asking me like, hey, how do you get sponsors and stuff? Like, I'm telling you, until you're getting, what do you think, Zach? Average at least 50,000 views on videos, it's not worth your time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no. Hold on. If somebody's willing to pay you enough money to make it worth your time,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, just set the dollar value in your head. Like, because any video you do with a sponsor, it's going to be a pain in the ass. They're going to have a bunch of requests. There's going to be a million emails that go back and forth. There's going to be layers of approval. They might want reshoots. There's all these things. The views are irrelevant. It's what they're willing to pay you.
True.
And I would say unless they're willing to pay you 4 figures or more, it's not worth it. Just
Agreed.
From the perspective of the extra filming overhead, the extra logistical overhead that's worth it. And yeah, so that's kind of where I would set the bottom of it.
You said dust. You actually need to say chips, because we don't like to market that this tool makes dust. We actually like to say that it does chips.
Yes.
So now you have to go refilm that, set all your camera up, bring the footage back into your editing software, re-edit it. Put the video back up on YouTube as unlisted, and they look at it again. They're like, can you actually change this too? It's like, if somebody is giving you $100, it is not
exactly
worth your
But
time.
the thing is, you might have a channel with 2,000 subscribers, but you might fill this weird niche that some brand is looking for. You might be, they're looking for a guy in rural Texas who's a woodworker who's working on a table with reclaimed beams to advertise their bandsaw, and they might be like, hey Drew, we'll give you $5,000. It's like, And it doesn't even matter how many views you get necessarily, because you're filling some weird need for them. So I would think about it more in terms of how much is the company willing to pay you versus how much time is going to take out of your schedule.
Right. And the other thing is acquiring sponsors, because I know you asked me about this as well. Woodworking brand specific sponsors. A majority of the time, those are acquired through you reaching out to them. Your annoying YouTube sponsors like the disgusting green shake, VPN services, all this stuff. These are 99% of the time done through ad agencies. So like, I'm blind. There's Influent is the one that I work with. There's
Hype Factory is one that emails me quite a bit.
Yeah, there's a million different names. And so what they'll basically do is on the top line of your YouTube like bio profiler thing, just put like, for sponsorship inquiries, please contact your email. They'll send you an email and be like, hey, we have this deal. Are you interested in working? And then they'll send you some ridiculously low rate. And then you just have to negotiate back and forth with them endlessly. And that's how those sponsors come up. Now I actually have an agent that I work with now. So through one of those agencies called Influent, the owner of it works with both brands and creators. So he's my agent as a creator. So he'll actually reach out to all these different brands and I'll be like, hey, Mark, I got a video coming out in January. And he'll go, great. He'll try to basically pitch me to all these different brands and get me the best deal. So I don't have to do any of that work. Then he just takes a small percentage of it.
That's great.
Yeah.
I had a agency reach out to me maybe a month ago with a well-known YouTube advertiser. And I was really excited. I was like, oh my gosh, like,
right.
This is not some like company I've never heard of that has a like a laser level that they want me to use or know.
Solar light.
Do what? What'd you say?
The solar light is another good one.
Yeah.
They're like, we have this wireless solar light.
Totally, yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I reached out to some guys who had done these ads, and they said, oh yeah, this is what they pay me in for these types of views.
Right.
And I was like, I had no idea that they paid that much. So I told the lady, like, they said you should quote them $1,500, and I was like, okay,
fair.
So I quoted them $1,500. They came back and said, well, based on the size of your channel and your average views, we can pay you $100.
You're like, middle finger on that one. That's insulting.
I was like, I said, it's kind of insulting. Did you see this video, this video, this video? Like, the average is like 120,000 views, but you're saying I'm only worth $100. They came back and said, we're sorry, like, we could probably pay you $210. I was like, did you miss? So I politely said, hey, no, when you and this company have a bigger budget, let me know, but I'm not going to have the
for you.
And I know for a fact they pay the same person, like, is paying, our colleagues $1,500, and they're averaging 80 to 100,000 views a video, and at that time I was averaging that with these ones that I had. So I was just like, it's not worth bothering.
It's not. And when you put those in, if you look at your retention on your videos, it drops.
Oh yeah, you're basically just killing a minute of your video.
Yeah.
Massive dent in your
why
video.
I've never. I would want to figure out how do I integrate it in a very, very seamless way where people wouldn't skip it. That's kind of, I think, the only way that I'd want to do it when that day comes.
Right.
But Yeah, kind of an issue. That's one of the streams I haven't built out yet. Just because that hasn't been worth my time.
And I'm glad that you said that, is you haven't done it because it's not worth your time yet. Like, that was one of the biggest mistakes I think I made, as I tried to get into sponsored videos and partnerships before I had value or had the guts to ask for more money. Like, I was like, oh, somebody's like, I'll give you $50 to make an Instagram post. Sure. But like, that's a horrible use of your time, and like all the back and forth and all this nonsense. Like, it's not worth your time.
Yeah.
Like, you have tons of other revenue streams. What other streams do you work on? Obviously, you do the affiliate stuff. Everybody does.
Yeah, man. I've got several, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 different affiliate setups. That are all like things that I have either bought or would buy.
Right.
And then I have my Etsy store, which is the number one earner. That's the number one thing.
Okay, really?
Oh,
so
yeah.
Neither of us do the Etsy. I guess I have plans on Etsy, but I don't sell like physical products. Tell me more about that. Like, does it obviously, you said it works well. Like, what's your experience been with Etsy? Because I know like nothing about it, and I know we get listeners ask all the time about Etsy stuff.
Bro, in November I made $15,000 on Etsy.
Wow.
Okay.
You need to get on Etsy.
Okay.
So a year ago, I wanted a 3D printer. It was $300. And I had seen a video. I'd seen people put duct tape over their track saw cover, their track saw hole. I think I sent you one.
Yeah, you sent me a custom one. I still use it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, so I had seen somebody make one and put it on Etsy, but it was like in lime green, and they had their logo. And I was like, like if I could find a filament that matched Makita, I'll just make one that's super clean. And so I just, like, November of 2022, last year, I bought a printer on Amazon, knew nothing. I Googled 3D filament for Makita, and I found a Reddit where somebody had a picture.
Okay.
And they had a thing in the background, and someone said, hey, that color looks like Makita. What is it? And they said the brand name, so I went and bought it on Amazon. It's very close. It's called Paramount Mid-Century Teal, I think, is the brand name. Okay. And I tried to learn Fusion for a week. I couldn't. I ended up going to Fiverr, and I found a guy who I still use today. He charges me $5 to make a 3D file. I send him pictures, caliper measurements, everything. And then I tip him like $10 or $15 because I feel bad. But he's like, that's what he charges. Right. And he gives me the file, and he's awesome. And in November, I was like, I had $100 in my bank account. And I had this $300 printer on my credit card. And I was like, I need to sell 32 of these things to pay off this 3D printer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at over, I think I did like 70 sales that month. I ended up having to get another printer in December. I'm now up to 13 3D printers. Ooh. And I think I'm over 2,000 sales now.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, and I had no clue that was it. Now, I'm small. There's guys who one guy said he does $100,000 a month. I don't know if he's telling the truth or not. And there's another guy who he says he does like 20 to 25 a month. I was doing like 3,000 a month until that video popped off, and then all of my revenue streams 10x because the traffic 10x'd.
Right.
So now I have my own store through Shopify where I realized, like, in November I made $15,000 on Etsy, but I paid them $2,000 in fees, but I sent them the traffic. So now I'm duplicating everything on Shopify, so where if people do go from YouTube, they're going to go to Shopify, and I'm going to pay way less in fees, and I'll control it all.
Right.
The thing I hate about Etsy is they put your competitor next to you with their algorithm.
And that's what we always tell people. We're like, if you can bring somebody to your website, why do you want to have your competitor right next to you on your website?
Yeah.
Now, Etsy has a great algorithm. It's fantastic. But they put your competitor next to you, and then people are price comparing.
Yeah.
But so my thing is that if I'm going to send them there from YouTube or Instagram, I don't want them judging my price based off. I want them judging my price just with me. So now, so Shopify, Etsy's a revenue stream, obviously affiliates, Google Ads, and then I'll do white label videos for people. So I'll offer to like make videos for other, like I did one for Tay Tools where I was like, hey, let me make. They needed an ad, so I was like, instead of you paying me to run the ad on my channel, I don't have a whole lot of subscribers. Let me make a video and you use it. So they put it on their channel. They paid. I think they ran YouTube and Instagram ads with it. And then I'll do like custom projects every now and then. So I think that's all of the streams, I think.
The white labeling videos is something that I'll get asked to do every once in a while. Like, you know, I'll work with like Pony Jorgensen or Craig. They're like, hey, we have some holiday stuff. And they're like, will you make this video? And I'm like, yeah. Especially if they already approach you with the idea like, hey, this is exactly what you want. And literally all I have to do is just go film it real quick and like make it. Yeah. I do that all day.
Yeah. It's like, I think that's one of the things is a lot of people think of YouTube as, well, here's your audience. But maybe, like me, I don't have a huge audience, but I have 22 years of video experience, and I have 20 years of public communication experience, and I've got graphic and website design experience. Like, I'm a one-man shop. Like, I can get you as good of a product as a firm will get you without all the overhead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where they're like, okay, we're thinking of doing a 10-second commercial. What's your budget? $15 million? Do you think we can do that?
Yeah.
Like, that's what some of these people pay.
Yeah, it was nuts. Yeah, if you were to secure a set, get permits, director, actors, unions, you're talking like 50 to 100 grand to do like a 30-second thing just to start off.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
So,
and like the turnaround time is it's going to take me a year to get that to you. Whereas like, you know, if I can get a contract, I'm good with the deliverables and everything like that. Like I could probably get it to you. I don't know, give me a week or so.
Yeah.
And it's going to be much more realistic and like raw than, you know, some thing you're paying some media company to make you.
Yep. But I think with like where social media is, I see actually people valuing the underproduced stuff more because it's more trustworthy and authentic, and at some point when you're used to looking at crappy TikToks all day, like you don't need an 8K smooth gimbal overproduced shot, you know? Like, your cell phone is perfectly fine. So
Drew, speaking of crappy TikTok videos, where do you think the short form content is headed soon?
I don't know if I trust my thoughts on it.
Okay.
But I can give you my thoughts. I'm probably wrong.
Okay. Let's hear them.
On one hand, I like the creative opportunity that short form gives creators, because it's so freaking hard to do a long form video. To do a short form thing, if you know the framework, can take you 10 minutes.
That's very true. Very true.
On the other side of that, I have serious concerns on what it's doing to our brains and how it's effing our attention span. And I have great concerns over my kids.
Swipe.
I have like patience is a virtue, and like I go to the store and I look around and everyone's down on their phones. You know,
right?
So I have this like almost a moral conviction of like, I don't know if this is good for us as a society and as human beings. So I think TikTok will probably get banned. Sounds like it. I was listening to something today, and it's like, I know like in the government you can't have it, and I think I've seen like universities are banning it. So it would not surprise me if this year TikTok gets banned in the United States. And if YouTube is like, okay, we're the only game in town now. Instagram feels like
it's old news.
I would not be surprised if, of course, I thought this about Facebook, and she's still kicking, but like, I don't know how Instagram, just like what they did to you, and just like inherently their platform, it just feels like, what are you guys doing? Like, I give Instagram no time. It's basically how people message me. That's the only reason why I'm on Instagram is for messages. So I kind of wonder like what short form will do, but what I've seen is people will blow up short form, and then it's the gateway to like long form videos. So will that stick around? Probably, but I still think long form is the play and like the moneymaker and the evergreen thing. So, but I haven't done it like you've done it. I feel like I'm late to the party because I think once it hit like probably in February or March when it's monetized, everyone's gonna be doing it, and I think by that point there's so much more competition. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. So I mean, like I'll be very transparent. I do like a couple million views a month on Instagram, and I'm monetized on their thing, and I get like $300 a month. It's like, why are you even bothering?
Yeah, and they're so fickle with it. Like the fact that they could shut you down and you can't get anyone on the phone.
Yep.
No.
Luckily, I have that contact, but even then, like sometimes it takes this guy a month to respond.
Yeah.
And
hey, in your merch shop, do you have a shirt? I'm not going to swear, but there's a word that rhymes with Zuck, and I think it should just say "F the Zuck."
Oh, that would be good.
That could be your merch
That would
idea.
be good.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm all in for it. I mean, like the whole story was basically there was a software glitch that they forgot my birthday. So it basically looked like this account was made with no birthday, and then that automatically flagged an underage user, instantly banned.
Yeah.
That's what happened. I didn't do anything.
How?
And the guy, my contact, was like, oh yeah, it's a known issue. We've known about it for years.
How long were you out of service?
Almost 4 months.
Do you have any idea how much money you lost?
Well, I lost a lot of sponsorships. I would say probably around $25,000.
Yeah.
And you know, I actually got contacted by, I couldn't even tell you the name. There is a Instagram and Facebook insurance company now. It's not run by them, but the idea is that you pay them a monthly premium, and when you get banned from Instagram or whatever, they effectively pay you out for every day that you're banned from the platform.
Yeah, I'm not, I don't know. I haven't had the bandwidth to like, I'm like an all or nothing guy. So if I did short form, it would be on YouTube, and I would like want to figure out how to be the best at it. And I'm like, I'm afraid of doing that. And then in like 9 months, it's like, yeah, we're just kidding about this shorts thing. TikTok's banned. We're not threatened anymore. So go back to your 30-minute videos. I heard a stat today from the Colin and Samir show that YouTube on TV, not YouTube TV, people watching YouTube on TV, people are now spending more time watching YouTube on their TVs than Netflix.
I believe it. I mean, when I look at my traffic, the TV viewership is generally really high. Let me see if I can look it up.
Think about that. Like, I used to have this thought of like, man, it'd be kind of cool to be on Netflix, have like a woodworking show on Netflix. I have it. It's on YouTube. I don't need Netflix.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. I'm still all in on YouTube. It's searchable. It's searchable. It's evergreen. If you can learn how to title your thumbnail, your videos like a first grader,
you're good.
You can get on browse and suggested. I mean, their creator split is great.
Right.
Their value proposition to creators is very clear. Like, it's almost like with Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, it's like, you're a creator? Oh, we haven't really thought about how we're going to help you. Like, you should be grateful for us. You know, that type of mentality. And YouTube is all about the creator. So, I don't know. I wonder how long that'll last.
I have 100.
Today, I'm still a YouTube guy.
I get like several million views a week on TikTok. I have 15,000 followers or whatever. This is how much I've made on TikTok in my entire life. $1,600.
Your entire life. And for how many total views?
I don't know if you can find it, but it's like, I don't know, a couple million a week. And I've been on there. So it's probably 100 million views or so.
My vacuum video made more than double that.
Right.
Yeah. Just on the ad revenue. That's not counting all the affiliate stuff and how it affected everything else, you know?
Right.
I could probably tie $50,000 to that video.
Right.
It's crazy. And you're not... The thing is Instagram and TikTok will never be able to do that. They won't be able to do that.
No.
So... I just don't bother.
So what I do is, and it's kind of similar to what you did with your the one video that I cameoed in. You had basically taken that video and then just cut it into a million little clips, and you got like 6-7 short form videos. That's what I do. Is I make my full length video because that's what's valuable to me, and then I will literally just go back through after I've edited it and be like, oh, I can get 60 short clips from this video.
I need to do. I hired an editor a few videos back, and I need to add that to the list of like, hey, give me 3 or 4 clips out of each one of these.
Yeah, and I'm going all in on the YouTube Shorts. I post one every single day, and I'm trying to get to that 9 million view threshold, and I just want to know what they're going to pay.
Yeah, $25.
And
are you able to tell how many subscribers have come just from your shorts?
You can see a breakdown per video, but I don't know if you can see like
I'd be
total...
interested to know, like, in a year, how many subscribers from Spenceley came solely from a short. I'd love to know that.
I would love to know too.
Not per short, like all like that segment, because that'd be very
right.
And then like, what's the watch time? Like, are those quality subs? You know, I think.
But subscribers don't matter.
True. But I'd still want to know, like, do they watch anything? Or is it just a dead sub, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I wonder if there's a way you can look in the analytics to be like, this person subscribed to you through shorts and they've never watched a full-length video.
Yeah, I'd want to know that. Like, you know, because then is it, like, why else would you do it, I guess? Assuming they're not going to pay awesome, why else would you do it?
Yeah, I don't know. And then I see some people's strategy is like mine is I'm putting them on my main channel, but then I see a lot of other people do a separate shorts channel. And it's just like, but if you get somebody to sub to your shorts,
it's terrible.
Like, I think YouTube knows what they're doing.
I did a mastermind with a guy named Lebron. I forget his name.
L. Ron Hubbard?
No. Lebron. His YouTube is the Techie Guy or something. He's at like 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers. He's a YouTube strategy coach. He's he's like a private coach for like Preston Plays and all these guys who have million sub channels. And he is like, he's always at YouTube. He's like, oh yeah, I was at YouTube this week. I talked to and he told us in the fall, before it became public, he hates shorts, but he's like, if you're going to do shorts, don't do it on second channel, because in 2023, they're going to connect shorts to long form, and the people that love your shorts are going to be shown your long form. They're building a bridge. Before they start talking about it, then they start talking about it, saying, yeah, we're building a bridge. So I would not, knowing that, I would not make a separate channel. Because for me, the whole reason would be to do shorts is to grow my subscriber base.
Right.
Who would watch my videos to give me more ad revenue and getting the marketing funnel. But
what I do now is, and I just started doing it in the past few that I've uploaded, but they're still like scheduled, is I basically load it to my phone, and then in like small text at the top of it, I go full full video linked in comments.
Right.
So then somebody can click on the comment, and it's a pinned comment with a link to the full video. I think that's going to be huge.
I don't know. I've got shorts that have, like 4 or 5 million views where I've linked to the actual build video. It's like maybe 1,000 extra views on the actual build video.
Okay.
So,
that's probably 1,000 people that are very interested.
That's true. They probably watch the whole thing and all that, but it's the crossover. I thought it'd be a great opportunity to connect the short form content with the long form content, and it didn't really work out the way I thought. It's still been great. Like, I've gotten a ton of subs from it, but it's just, they haven't been following the funnel I thought they would.
That's why I'd want to know, like, what quality are they? And are they, like, becoming part of the core audience, or are they just a number?
Yes. Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think having a subscriber can, I don't think it can hurt. It's just, it's another, I see a subscriber as being a person that's like pushed a little button that says, hey, I'm slightly more likely to see your video in my main feed. And I think at the end of the day, that's, that can only be a good thing.
Yeah. Do you see it as, I want to make this video on my dumb second channel, is that subscribe is the new like button. It's basically like the like button 2.0. It's subscription.
I think subscription. No, it doesn't mean much, but I do think it's a strong metric that YouTube looks to in terms of how much to promote your video, because it's probably it's a strong engagement indicator, right? Like, a like is relatively, whatever, somebody can press the button. A comment's a little bit better than that because you actually had to sit there and type something out. And then a subscription is an active thing saying, I really like this content and I want to see more of it. So I think if there was probably a hierarchy of engagement, it would probably go like, comment, subscription. So I think if you can do a video that gets a lot of people to subscribe, it's more likely to go viral.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't disagree whatsoever, and I guess, Drew, you've probably noticed this. Zach and I have talked about this. You probably noticed but I am almost only watch videos that are in my subscription feed. I rarely watch video on my homepage, but if you look at your analytics for a video that does well, it's like, if I have a video that does like 500,000 views, I maybe get 1,000 people that watch it from the subscription feed. Mm-hmm. Everyone watches it from the main page or suggests.
I thought I was the only person who watched from my subscription feed.
No, that's like all I do. No. We lost him again. But
we were doing so well there for a while.
I know. This is why I think we don't even worry about having the after show tonight, just because we're having so many tech issues. We just keep chatting. We'll just have a long main show.
We'll just have a 2-hour-long episode or whatever.
Yeah, people get it.
I think, what are we at already? We're almost at like an hour and a half or something.
So we'll let him join in, and we'll wrap things up once he joins in. That way.
129.
Yeah, so he can get back to his life.
If anybody's watching the live stream wondering where I went for a second, it was because my cat got into the garbage can, was literally eating plastic out of the garbage.
Oh, no.
So now I have her just what's the word, hypnotized here by just scratching her chin repeatedly.
Wish you'd scratch my chin.
Well, if you come on over.
Maybe down in Atlanta, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. Now we're talking.
Was
back.
that me or you guys?
We're back. Drew's back.
We're back.
Canceled.
Drew's back.
Died on me.
I don't know. I blame Riverside.fm.
I blame Riverside.
Did it
Riverside's
cut you guys
dead
out
to
or
us.
just me?
Yeah.
So, just you.
Yeah, just you.
We've had a lot of issues with this. We're done with this service. We've been looking around. We've tried Zencaster.
Yeah.
Riverside sucks, and now we're going to try a new one. But
yeah,
Well, I
Zencaster
thought it
sucked.
was me,
Yeah, we
so
got to find something new.
I'm glad to know I'm not the problem.
it
Can you
could
just
be,
tell me it
but
was
we have
Riverside?
genuinely no idea.
Now let's.
Okay.
It was
Yeah, let's
I'm a
put the
Riverside.
tech
finger
guy.
on
Like,
Riverside.
It was not you.
I had things set up nice, high quality, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, that's the problem with the whole tech thing is like we can go through all these things like, okay, we're paying for this Riverside service so that we can do all this stuff and like easily have guests on, and then first thing, boom, issues.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it's frustrating. But I guess kind of wrapping up the shorts conversation, honestly, once the monetization comes out, if it's not aggressive compensation and it's like, oh, you did 1 million shorts views, here's $100, I'm out. I'm gonna stop doing it. Like or at least not do them as often. Like I'm doing one a day right now. I might do
that's
like
pretty intense.
just like project highlights or like, oh, I thought this was a good clip or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic that YouTube knows what they're doing with this format.
I mean, the short bonuses haven't been anything to get too excited about. I think this month
I never
got
got one.
Oh, really? I got $280 this month for like 5 million views or something like that. So.
So are they going to like overlay? Excuse me. Are they going to overlay ads like on top, like almost like a little banner ad, or like?
I
what
would
are they
assume
gonna
it's
do?
more the Instagram style or the TikTok style, where it's like every fifth one is an ad. And I think, you know, like to keep people there and hooked, they can't have unskippable ads in that feed, right? Like that would just kill the engagement on the platform, right? So I think they're going to be skippable, and thus because they're skippable, they probably don't pay well. And if they're showing one every 5 videos, you're splitting that revenue with 5 other people, essentially, right? That's why the short form content can't be as valuable as the long form content is.
But do you think with people like us who have YouTube Premium that we're going to see any of those ads?
Oh, God, I hope not.
But I don't watch shorts anyway.
Yeah, neither do I. So really, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me either way. But
I have never watched either of your shorts, and it's not a hit on you. I don't, like, I watch all your videos. I don't care about the shorts.
Yeah, I'm not a short form content type of guy, really.
Like, even on Instagram, like, Instagram's just not that interesting to me. If you don't pop up in the first 1, maybe 2 videos, I'm probably not going to see it.
Yeah, agreed.
It's not interesting to me anymore.
I don't watch any shorts.
And it's unfortunate, but
I don't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And because for me, when I'm going on YouTube, I'm there to be entertained. Like I'm sitting down, I'm eating lunch. I'm like, oh, this person put out a 35-minute video. Great. I can't wait to like sit down, learn a little something, be entertained. And me just endlessly swiping, it's just like, I personally didn't get a lot of value from that, other than maybe like, oh, that was funny. Oh, that was a cool trick that somebody did. But like, if I want to learn how to do something, I want somebody to go into some detail about how they did this, not just like a cooking video where they just throw 3 things in the pan and then flash the camera and they're like, look at this sandwich. It's like, but how'd you make the sandwich?
You know, there is something more addictive about systems that you don't always win at. So, like, take the slot machine at the casino as an example, right?
Yeah.
90% of the time when you pull the lever, you lose, or 99% of the time you lose, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's those one big hits like where you do pull the lever and you do win $100 and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to sit here for the next 3 hours. And I think there is something to that, like systems where you, like, again, where it's like, it's a big payoff, but it doesn't happen that often, are actually more addictive than like a slow drip of steady satisfaction. So swiping through all those garbage videos and then finding one that you really like might actually be more addictive than watching a full length, for some people anyways. I don't think that necessarily applies to the three of us, but for some people it might actually be more addictive than just watching a pretty satisfying video for 20 minutes.
Like, do you ever, like, just out of curiosity, like, people watch people on their phones and see how they engage with their phones? People that are on social media, it's the craziest thing. It's just their thumb constantly scrolling. Stop. Some facial reaction. Scroll. And that's all they do. It's
that's
like,
why I have this like moral dilemma about it. Is like, how is that person going to be able to concentrate on a real problem? And like, you think of like, there's this
right.
You know Seth Godin? He's like the marketing guy. He has a rant 20 years ago on the problem with our education system. And it was basically like our schools were designed to create good factory workers. Sit in line, be quiet. Raise your hand. We're going to give you information, and you're going to tell us whether you got it so we can plug you in. The problem is we don't have factory jobs anymore.
Right.
And we have really, really, really hard problems, but most people have not been educated to solve interesting problems. They've been educated to regurgitate an answer. Yeah. So off of that thought, you go with, like, if you take our education system as it is right now, and then you throw things like TikTok and what you're like, how I know this is not you know, I don't know if, I don't want to be I'm like the least political person you know. One of the things that scared
this is a Drew rant.
Donald Trump was he seemed to not be able to concentrate for more than 2 seconds unless his name was in it.
Mm-hmm. But I know so many people that, like, you'll try to engage them in a conversation and then instantly pick up their phone or they look somewhere else. And it's like, people can't have a conversation with other human beings anymore. Think about, like, as our world continues to get more complex and there are serious problems to be solved, whether it's at home, in your business, in the government, in the world, you need people who can concentrate, who can think about something for a long time, and who can communicate with one another. And when you have people who are either elected or leading corporations or leading your small business or teaching your kids at school, and if, like, in 30 years we have a whole wave of people who can't think more than 2 seconds and have a conversation, can't listen, it just really scares the mess out of me of, like, well, what type of problem are you going to be able to solve when, like, I mean, just imagine, like, what if another pandemic shows up and you got to, like, think on your feet quickly? If you can't think outside of the box or solve interesting problems or communicate or have empathy or compassion or listen to people, and you can only do things in 3-second increments, it just has me really scared. Now maybe we'll pull through it and we'll all be fine, but it's just that's one of those things of, like, you know, I don't know. I admire people who can, like, look at a problem for a long time and, like, understand it and figure it out and solve it, and people's lives are better. And I don't even know if I can do that because of how I've come up. So when I look at people at the grocery store doing this, I'm like, we're screwed. It's a skill that I think you have to learn. Right.
I don't know. I'm a little bit more sanguine on the whole thing. Like, when the printing press was first invented, everybody was freaking out that books were going to rot everybody's mind, and now we have those. We hold those the highest regard. It's like, oh, he can sit and read a book, you know? Like, so there is always a little bit of a pushback when a new technology comes around, like, oh, it's going to destroy our minds, and blah, blah, blah. I think, honestly, there are some people who just, I don't know, you need a release every once in a while, and sitting in line at the grocery store, unfortunately, it's not the most engaging activity, right?
That's fair.
So I'm not sure that, like, you know, would it really be superior for me to be, like, really focused on what the person in front of me was buying?
Yeah.
Or can I just be scrolling TikTok? I'm not sure that one is necessarily...
When I was pastoring, I had grown men come to me, literally, and say, I'm addicted to my phone. Can you help me? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you know, when I'm at the store, I just pull it, and I can't not. When I'm, you know, and they go on and on. And I was like, well,
yeah.
They're like, what do you do? I was like, I just don't pull out my phone. I put my phone to bed.
Right.
Like, my phone goes to bed before I do and wakes up after I do. And they're like, you don't sleep with your phone? I'm like, no, I don't sleep with your phone.
Right.
It charges in another room. And it baffled me that, like, there were people who, it was so bad, they were coming to their pastor saying, I'm addicted not to cocaine or alcohol, but to my iPhone. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible.
Right? I was with one of my friends and with his little sisters that are, I say little, they're like 4 years younger than us. But we were talking about this, and they're like, oh, what's your screen time? And I was like, I don't know, like 2 hours or so on my phone a day. And they're like, oh, I have 9.5. I'm like, what do you do all day that you're on your phone for almost 10 hours? Like, you're awake for like 14 hours during the day. You're saying 3/4 of the day you are literally looking at your phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I spent most of the day doing something John from Lincoln Street hasn't done, which is spend time in the shop making sawdust. And kidding, John. And it was so great to, like, I looked at and I had a ton of voicemails and messages, and I hadn't been on YouTube or anything. I had no clue, and I just knew I needed to get through resawing these boards. I had to eat dinner at 5, and then I had this at 6.
Right.
And it was like, I haven't had a day like that in a while, where I just did a bunch of manual labor, had dinner, and then had something else. And it was like kind of freeing to go.
It's great.
I missed a bunch of I missed so much digitally today, but I have sawdust all over me. I'm very fulfilled. I'm going to sleep great tonight after I take some aspirin. And I kind of have forgotten that feeling, because I'm on screens doing creative work all the time, and I don't know. I'm sure we're all going to be fine. It's just, you know, I'm like get off my lawn moment, but I just have questions, I guess. That's my thing. I have questions. Is like,
this is your sermon for the day.
How is this changing our brains? Is what I would like to know. Yeah,
for sure. And I think I don't think it's. I think you should be asking those questions. I think it's important to have the conversation. I'm just a little bit less worried.
Yeah. Like, I'm okay with my
some
grandparents
people are. I think
scared of the internet, and I'm like, you know. So it always changes, but it is weird.
And like, as content creators, like, man, are we more morally superior because we're on the other side and we're creating the content, but we're still like, we're just on the other side of the same coin,
we may
right?
be on,
like we're spending all this time.
Point is that we may be on screens more.
Say that again. Like I'm, you know, maybe I'm not looking at my phone, but I'm looking at my big screen designing content to go on the small screen. It's like, I don't know. And I'm spending a lot of time thinking about how I can do that as best as possible.
Interesting.
Like Riverside, we're the problem.
It's like Taylor Swift always says. She always says, it's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. Well, I said it was 9 o'clock. We're getting tired. I haven't eaten dinner. Zach, you haven't eaten either?
No, but my cat has ate a ton of plastic out of the garbage can.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, what do you say we wrap it up here? Drew, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you tonight.
Yeah,
we really appreciate you jumping on amidst all the technical issues of Riverside. Not sponsored. We're actually trying to actively cancel and get a refund because this platform sucks.
Nobody used Riverside.
What?
Nobody used Riverside. It's horrible.
Oh, hope they don't
glad it
cancel us
wasn't
like
me.
Instagram did to me.
I was messing it up. You know?
No.
No, we've had a myriad of issues. The simplest issue is we're like, oh my god! Speaking of it, we just lose him. Oh my gosh!
God.
Well, we'll wait till he comes back on, and we will say our farewells. But yeah, so everybody listening, we're not doing an after show because we had so many technical issues. So we apologize for patrons. I promise. We will be back to it next week. We didn't want to try to derail this and start a new stream and all this other kind of nonsense that we obviously had.
It felt so precarious as is that we didn't want to risk, going to another stream.
Right. We are 100% going to something else next week because this has been a nightmare. Or maybe it was like a YouTube wrap up, right? Where he's like, okay, thanks everybody, and he's like, I'm out.
Yeah, he's saying in the live chat right now, I'll take that as a good night.
Is that what he did? He just say that?
Yeah, he's in the live stream. So,
okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Drew, we appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for being on.
Yes,
listeners,
thank you very
as
much.
always, we appreciate it. Do you got anything for the people, Zach?
No, a bunch of the people in the comments were razzing me for being really quiet. I woke up super sick this morning, so if I'm a little bit out of it, that's why. I'm worried I got the vid again, but we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. So let's talk about episode titles. I guess, hold on. Why don't we'll do that. We'll end the podcast recording here, and then we'll talk about titles.
All right. See you, everybody.
See you, everyone. I slurred my